Jana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahavana Valita S.B.Vichar Bishnu light. Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Sriman Shamyami Urvani Chanai Krishna Sakti Swarupaya Bhakti Pradaya Manchakal Pataru Vichati Pasni Vichapitanami Pavani Vishnu Namo Namo Ramadi Devo Karuna Nidhanam Kamala Varnam Sridhavaparam Apara Samsara Samudra Setum Bhajamari Bhagavatam Swarupam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gauri Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. In the first of all, I offer my respectful obeisances to His divine Inglés with the love Vishnu Pada Stotra Maharaj and all our Sikha Guru Parampara Acharyas. We always beg the Godless mercy. And I respect and love all devotees who are present and participate in our this Zoom meeting. We have been continuing now this Bhagavad Dharma, Bhakti Dharma, in 11th canto, 2nd chapter. Narada was narrating to Vasudeva regarding the King Nimi and 9 Yogendras. We discussed some questions, and yesterday we have discussed about Haribhakti Vilas, how to maintain our Guru, our Ishtadeva, our mantra, Mala, all these we discussed yesterday. So we will continue to discuss how long Krishna love was. But today we are fortunate. One of my close God brother named very dear to me from USA. He is now staying in our temple here, and we constructed one house and is staying here in the temple in Mayapur. With his wife, devotees, Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's disciple, old devotee, senior devotee, Sripada Sarva Drik Prabhu, maybe you know, and here, who is actually maintaining our IKCM.org, this home page. I told him, and he is creating and maintaining this, and he is present here. So I requested him to give half an hour class with you, so everyone can participate. His realization and his scriptures. He is also here in Delhi and Jaipur, and other many places. He is also going to giving class, and we have best friendship. We always every day we discuss and associates. So I requested him, he will give you class. Everybody should hear and participate. If any question answer also we will discuss after. Jai Sripad Sarva Drik Prabhu ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo.
Vichar Bishnu Maharaj ki
Jai.
Sarva Drik Prabhu ki jai.
Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari. So you just move. Yes. Start.
So thank you, Maharaj, for your kind words. It is my great fortune to
be associated with Srila Vishnu Maharaj now for, I think, 25 years, Maharaj. 25 years I've known you.
Yes.
Something like that.
You can.
So it's my great good fortune to be here in his association here in Mayapur. So we'd like to say something today from 8th chapter Bhagavad Gita. But before speaking, let me offer my Ananta Koti Shashtanga Dandavat Pranam to His Divine Grace S.B.Vichar Bishnu Maharaj, Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa, Paribraj Acharya, Srila Bhakti Bhai Bhav Puri Goswami Maharaj, and to my beloved spiritual master A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. May they all bless me, that I can say something useful to you. And may you all bless me. I'm very happy to be here with all of you. Vancha Kalpatubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanabhu Vacha. Your Balaram Prabhu that does the website from Mexico. This Prabhu is wonderful, beautiful website. Thank you so much for your service. I saw your picture there, so I thought it's such a nice website. Thank you. So I'd like to say something today from Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter. Arjuna asked Krishna how to achieve him at the time of death. This is most important question, because why do we practice Krishna Bhakti? We want to go back to Godhead. It's not just an exercise in futility. We're practicing Krishna Bhakti for one objective. We want to go back to Krishna. So this is most significant question, how to achieve Krishna at the time of death. And there's a series of important verses in the first part of 8th chapter that begin, ante chamameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samad bhāvaṁ yati na satya sanshaya. Krishna told Arjuna, at the end of life, antakali means the end of our life. Everyone has this time. It's the end of our time. This is significant. In the Mahabharata, Yudhishthira Maharaj was quizzed by his father, Yamaraj, in the form of a yaksha. This is called Yaksha Prashna, section of Vanaparva Mahabharata. He asked him many questions. Finally, he said, what is the most extraordinary thing? What is the most amazing thing? Yudhishthira rightly answered. He said, the most amazing thing is that every living being, every amphibian, every mammal, every insect, every devata, every human being, every creature within the kingdom of God has to meet death. But we all think, that won't happen to me. I don't have to meet my death. Death gives meaning to our life. So antakali, Krishna is saying at the end of life, smaran muktva, when you give up your body thinking of me, smaran is a very important thing. We practice this in our life. Krishna Bhakti is not mechanical. We have to engage our mind in Krishna's service. This is most important thing. For example, when we're chanting japa, sometimes we will find ourselves, our mouth is moving, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and we're pulling down beads, but our mind is millions of miles away from where it should be. Smaran, we should be remembering Krishna, focusing on Krishna, his beauty, his lila, his form, his mercy, his power. We remember Krishna, smaran. And as we practice through our life, we are tested at the time of death. Will we remember Krishna? Because you can teach a parrot also to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, correct? You can teach him Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. But when a cat comes, quack, 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 no more Hare Krishna. So we don't chant like a parrot. We should chant smaran. And everything we do, we should remember Krishna. Whether we're cutting vegetables, whether we're worshipping the deity, whether we're out meeting the public, whether we're chanting japa, even when we're getting dressed, when we're brushing our teeth. Find time to monitor the activities of your mind, to do smaran, to always be remembering Krishna at every moment, 24/7. Remembering Krishna. Then what is the result? Smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samad bhāvaṁ. We get a body like Krishna's body. But bhāvaṁ means a Satchidananda body. Not a body made of blood and skin and muscles and fat, brain, heart, lungs, intestine, spleen, kidneys, liver.
We don't want one of these bodies, and we don't want a material mind also. Because when we're liberated, no more material mind also. It gives us so much trouble in this world. We get mad-bhāvaṁ, a body like Krishna's, with which we can serve and associate with the Lord eternally. This is the objective of our life. We should not forget. So tyajaty ante kalevaram, when we give up our body, we remember Krishna and we go back to him. So Krishna says, next verse, yam vāpi smaran bhāvaṁ tyajaty ante kalevaram tam evaiti kaunteya sadā tad-bhāva-bhāvitaḥ. Whatever you think of at the time of your death gives direction to your next life. The classic example, of course, is Bharat Maharaj. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we hear the story of Bharat Maharaj, who was such exalted devotee, extraordinary devotee, not an ordinary class of devotee, but exalted devotee, who was one step away from pure Krishna prema, love of God. But when he went to the riverside to collect water, he saw a female deer who was also drinking water. As she drank water, a lion came and went to pounce on her and roared very loudly. The deer became very fearful and spontaneously gave birth to a baby deer, a fawn. The fawn fell in the water, and the devotee, being completely full of compassion, because this is devotee's nature, to be compassionate to every living being, Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, just like Krishna. He thought, let me pull this baby deer from the water. He pulled it from the water, and in due course of time, he became very attached to it. He was feeding it, playing with it, kissing it, fondling it. He became very attached to the deer. See, in America, in the West, people became very attached to dogs. Man's best friend, correct? They criticize people in India. Oh, you love cows, you worship cows, you feed cows. Cow is a valuable animal. What is it? What is a dog? So they love their dog, and as they love their dog, they can become dog, as Bharat Maharaj also became deer. At the time of his death, he was thinking of the deer, and naturally he became a deer in his next life. But he didn't lose his consciousness. This is the value of Krishna Bhakti. Neha vikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swabhamapisya dharmasya trayate mahatobhaya. Whatever we do in Krishna's service, Krishna can never forget. It becomes our asset in life and at death. So Bharat Maharaj maintained, he was jati smaran. He remembered exactly how he became a deer, why he became a deer, and he went to Palaha ashram, Gandaki river, and performed austerity, even in the body of a deer, eating dry leaves and meditating on Krishna. And by his sukriti, he took birth as Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat was completely detached from everything about this material world. People thought he was completely crazy. They thought he's dumb, deaf, blind, crazy man, because he was so detached from the entire material experience. So it's a long history, but the principle is that yam's vāpi smaran bhāvaṁ. As you think in this life, as you remember in this life, has a lot to do with what kind of birth we get in our next life. So in Krishna Bhakti, we want to remember Janmashtami, Ram Nomi, Gaur Purnima, deity worship, Mangal Arti, devotees, prasadam, japa, Bhagavatam, Gita. We want to remember all the different aspects of Krishna Bhakti. We fill our mind with these things. We remember these things, so that at the end of life, our mind drifts to those things, not to some useless material experience. They say in the internet world, garbage in, garbage out. If you enter all kinds of garbage programming into your computer, you can't expect a good result. In a similar way, you fill your mind with garbage. At the end of life, garbage out, garbage in, garbage out. Our mind is like a library. If you have a library full of Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Upanishads, Mahabharata, Ramayana, all wonderful spiritually oriented books about Krishna Leela, then you can derive so much benefit from that library. If you put the nonsense books, love relationships, novels, all kinds of nonsense books in your library, what benefit can you derive? So our mind is like a library. Monitor what you allow your mind to absorb, because at the time of death, what will you remember? Bharat Maharaj remembered a deer, and at the end of his life, he was transferred to the body of a deer by yam vāpi smaran bhāvaṁ. Tyajaty kalevaram. Again, we have to give up our body. Yaprayati samvad bhāvaṁ yati nasatas. Krishna says, asangshaya. I guarantee that you do like this. You think of me, you remember me, you'll come back to me. In the next verse in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha mayarpita manobuddhir mamaivashyasi asangshaya. Krishna gives his guarantee that if you do like this, if you go about your life, he uses the word tasmat. Tasmat means therefore. When we say therefore, it means when our argument is strong, we've made a conclusion, we say therefore. Krishna is making a conclusion. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. All of the time, in all circumstances, mam anusmara and yudhyacha. Always think of me. Again, this word smaran, engaging our mind in Krishna service. He says, manmana bhava bhakto. Always think of me. Remember me. Don't forget me. This is bhakti. So tasmat sarve mam anusmara and yudhyacha. This is a significant instruction, especially for working devotees. Sometimes devotees ask, I have such a burden in my life. I have to work, I have to make money, I have to deal with my boss, I have bills to pay, mortgage to pay, insurance, car has to be worked on, gas, oil, so many things. It's on my head, so much burden is on my head. Krishna told Arjuna, yudhyacha, that don't neglect your activity in this material world. Go about your activity as you're destined to do by your own individual karma, but go on remembering me. Simple thing. Our mind to Krishna and our body to work according to our own destiny. Krishna explains very nicely in 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There he says, Karya karana kartate hetu prakriti ruchyate purusha sukha dukhanam bhoktate hetu ruchyate purusha prakriti stohi bhokte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangasya sadasa joni janmasu. That we live in this world, we get a birth in this world, sadasa joni, by our association with the modes of material nature. We've created our own circumstance in this world. We have no one else to blame, no one else to praise. We've created our situation in this world. Whether you're a laborer, an intellectual, a business person, a housewife, a student, whatever your situation in life is, you've created by your purva pap, purva punya, by your previous life's activities of sin or piety. So, mama nusmara and yudhyacha. We work in this world as we're obliged to work in this world. That starts from the moment of conception. From the very moment of conception, our destiny is laid out to us. So we work in this world. Krishna told Arjuna, yudhyacha. Arjuna's proposition was, let me go to the forest. I don't want to fight. How you're asking me to fight Drona, my guru? You're asking me to fight my grandfather who has so much affection for me? All these relatives are in front of me. I refuse to fight. I'm going to the forest and meditate. But Krishna said, yudhyacha, mamanusmara and yudhyacha. Mayarpita manobud, here with your mind and intelligence fixed on me, mami vaishyasi, asangshaya. He said, mami vaishyasi, you will come to me. Asangshaya, I'm guaranteeing you by this simple process of doing your duty as you're obliged by your karma in this world and fixing your mind on me. Two simple things. We have to work in this world anyway, correct? We're obliged to work to do something in this world. So we work as we're obliged and we fix our mind on Krishna. This is the struggle in Krishna Bhakti. Arjuna said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, pramati balavad vidham tasyaham nigrahan manye, vayur eva sudushkaram. The mind is very flickering, it's chanchal, obstinate, very difficult to control. Arjuna is saying this, personal family member, beloved friend of Krishna, who would sit and eat with Krishna, who would talk with Krishna, friendly, loving relationship with the Lord. And he's saying, after he heard Lord's instruction in Bhagavad Gita. He's saying, I can't do this. What is our position? What is our position? So not an easy thing to fix our mind in Krishna, but Krishna is giving his guarantee, if we can do this to the best of our ability, mama yurishasi asanshaya. So because it's not easy, Krishna gives his advice in the next verse. He says, Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya gamina paramam purusham divyam yati partanu chintayam. That we practice Krishna bhakti. We're not born self-realized. We're born in this world, ichya dvesha samutina dvanda mohena bharata, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. Some things we are very attracted to have, other things we're very adverse. And we try and organize our life in such a way to be happy in this material world. And people live their whole life like that, trying to adjust their life for their own selfish happiness. And at the end of life, what did it all mean? It all amounted to a big zero. So Abhyasa Yoga Yukta, this is yoga, to always remember Krishna, to focus one's mind on Krishna. Is that okay? So this is yoga, to fix one's mind. Yoga doesn't mean twisting your body. The process of yoga may be good for your health, to do asana. But typically people have no idea, especially in the West, what yoga actually is. Asana is 1/8 part of the process of yoga. Yoga means Ashtanga yoga, 8 parts. Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Jhana, and Samadhi. It doesn't mean just twisting your body. Gymnastic yoga cannot help you. Maybe it can help your health. Maybe to stretch your body may be helpful. But it can never give you Krishna prema in millions and millions of lifetimes. So what is the use of yoga? This type of bogus yoga that we see all over the West, taught to ignorant people who don't understand the actual principle of yoga. They practice yoga in the strip mall. And they sell you a little yoga mat, and you buy a little yoga outfit, and you go practice yoga with your yoga girlfriend. This is not yoga. Yoga means you go to a sacred place, not to the mall, and you sit in a particular type of asana with kusha straw, with special cloth, with a deer skin, and you don't go anywhere, you don't do anything, you sit and jnanavastita taggatena manasa pashantiyam yoginaha. This is yoga, to focus one's mind on the Lord in your own heart. What they're teaching in Western society is simply cheating, business. This is yoga, to remember Krishna, to focus your mind on Krishna, to chant Krishna's name, to serve Krishna, to associate with Vaishnavas, to serve Vaishnavas. This is yoga. If these people taught actual system of yoga, every yoga salon will close tomorrow. Because first principle of yoga means yoga indriya samyama, control your senses, yam niyam. If they taught this principle, every yoga studio closes tomorrow. This is the practice of yoga. Abhyasa yoga yuktin. Chetasa na anyagamina. Not allowing your mind to go to any other thing but Krishna. But can we do that with a snap of our fingers? Is it so easy? We have to abhyasa. We have to practice Krishna bhakti. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasan nanyagamina paramam purusham divyam yati partanu chintan. This is the process given by Krishna, to focus our consciousness, our mind, our everything on Krishna by practice. Not so easy that you snap your fingers and get everything immediately. In the next verse in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives some hint how you can think of them. Kavim Purana Manushashitaram Anoraniyam Sam Manusmarajyaha. What is it? Adityavarnam Tamasa Parastat. He gives a hint how you can think of him. And this is an important thing. We should be able to see Krishna at every moment of our life. If we go by this simple formula, he says, Kavim, that I'm the oldest. I know everything. I'm the oldest. Kavim, I know everything. Puranam, I'm the oldest person. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamahaman. He's the Adi Purush. the original person, the oldest person who knows everything. Anoraniyam samanusmara jaha. He's greater than the greatest and smaller than the smallest. How small is Krishna? Even the Atma, Keshagra Shata Bhagasha Shatada Kopitasya cha. If you take the tip of a hair, Kesha Agra, and you divide that tip of a hair, which is already very small, into 100 parts, and you take that 100th part and divide that 100 times, this is 1/10,000th the size of a tip of a hair. This is the dimension of the Atma. And Krishna is present in the heart of that Atma. He's smaller than the smallest. He accompanies us in our own heart. And he's greater than the greatest. In his expansion is Anantashesh. The whole universe is sitting on the head of Anantashesh. How great is Krishna? Inconceivably great and inconceivably small. Anoraniyam sam anusmara jaha. Go on remembering him in this way. He has achintya rupam, inconceivable form. That form is within our own heart. That he can be seen within our own heart. When our premanjana charita bhakti vilochanena santak sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. When our eyes are anointed with the salve of love, we can see that Krishna santak sadaiva hridayeshu. Within the core of our own heart, we can see him. Why can we see him? Because he's there. He wants to be seen. He wants to have a relationship with us. This is the power of bhakti. And it all begins with the chanting of Krishna's holy name. By this process, the actual process of yoga, Krishna agrees to reveal himself. So this is a very nice section in Bhagavad Gita, the process of remembering him at the crucial moment of our own death. We don't have to be morose. We don't have to be thinking, I'm going to die. But we should understand we can't stay here. Krishna says this whole world is dukkalayam ashashvatam. It's full of unhappiness and it's temporary. Everyone wants to make plans for sukhalayam shashvatam. We want to play happy forever and stay here forever. It's an impossible proposition. We have to leave. We cannot stay in this world. So Krishna is giving the formula for when we leave this world, as we must, how to leave this world for the last time and go back to him. These are very important verses in Bhagavad Gita that we can reflect on. This is also the process of remembering. To remember Lord's instructions in Bhagavad Gita and make a success of our life. Thank you very much for your kind attention. I'd also like to apologize. You are probably expecting to get nice darshan with Maharaj and hear his instructions. But he gave me instruction to say something, so I'm simply following his instruction. I hope you're not disappointed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nice talk from Bhagavad Gita. Our Sarva Drik Prabhu, he described and practical things. This is nice to hear Harikatha, just like the juice, nectar comes from mouth of the realized persons, devotees who practice themselves in practical life in society. So we have to keep patience up to our death. Krishna told. So death time, who remember me, and I give guarantee, security, they will come to me. So we have to keep patience up to death time. Not I am 10 years I am practicing, 20 years practicing, or 5 years practicing. This is nothing to say, because we have a long walk, long way to go to finish, to complete from this material bhava-roga, this birth and death, the disease, which this is not actually easy topic for about thinking about the body, maybe it's about society, money, or prestige, or anything in this worldly, any related object and worldly topic with the senses and mind. This is completely pure spiritual with the soul, and the soul is now in this condition, entering one body to another body, one father body, then one mother body, then again come out again. This system of birth and death we are running here. How to come out from this? This is a highest, supreme, ultimate goal of human life, which is discussed by the Supreme Lord himself and many such Mahabhagavatas, sages, acharyas in different places. In sometimes they discussed in Goloka, Vrindavana, Vaikuntha, and Kailas, and Brahmaloko, and heavenly planet. Then they discussed in sometimes in Himalayas, Vyasadeva has written, sometimes some many millions years before, many yugas, many manvantaras. There is no calculation of our material time. It is not a simple history of simple knowledge. This is a eternal, absolute truth, Satya, Sanatana, and our eternal benefit. This is how much we can glorify and explain by our language. No, our language will not actually reach the end of the conclusion. So, this is, we are fortunate. Just we keep our sadhan, Sravana, Kirtana, Smarana, Archana, Bandhana, Dasya, Sakhya, Atmanivedana, all these are, we need to practice every day. Same time with tolerance, what is coming by our past karma to with this body, with our relatives, with our business, with our mind, what is coming, we see our karma, our previous karma, and tolerance and patience necessary. This is the most necessary. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told how to, like a tree we tolerate, a humbler than a grass. This is the necessary to see this material condition, how we are suffering here. Then another is, we should not keep desire to get prestige from others. We respect to others. This is also important with our ego. This is necessary to apply in our daily life. Daily life, when we wake up, when we talk with others, when we see to others, and when we work in our family and society, we need to apply this, and we need to realize this. And day by day, we see how we free from this. We don't create more desires to entangle our consciousness, contaminate and cover by these three moods of nature, and gradually we will free. And the last moments, when death time, one package of the karma finish, but others are deposited there. So we should, that time we will free, and by our loving service to devotees and Krishna, all, they will come and take us. This is the most benefit. We should not think about any social benefit, prestige, money, any fame, name, any kind of sense gratification, anything. This is important. If we keep desire, then we will divert from our goal, and we can't free from this, which is actually the Supreme Lord gave to human body. This is not in other body. We cannot practice this devotion. Other body, we have freely sense gratification, no restriction. Any creatures they are practicing. You see now this virus, very small, no one can see. And how they increase, they produce children, they produce, they grow, they spreading like everywhere, whole world now they are suffering and they fear for this everyone. Every living creature, very smallest, finest creatures, they have also this material, they have also power, they have this active action. So everybody fear this. So this is the benefit for a human. The Supreme Lord has given us. We can free from this our birth and death cycle. This is in different way in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and other Upanishads, Vedantas. They explained this. This is best to continue our intelligence and mind by practicing our this Navada Bhakti Yoga. This is Bhakti Yoga. Another name is Bhava Yoga. Bhava Yoga, with our sentiment, our love, we connect to Krishna with our love. This is Bhakti Yoga. With Bhava, we connect to him. Yoga means we connect, we unite this. This is the yoga, not only by breathing with the air, some external practicing yoga, to our Prabhuji explained before, many things there. So thank you are all. How long we will continue? By Krishna's mercy, I don't know. When I am healthy, I continue. When I will feel sick, then I will stop. I have now 2 classes. In Odia language, I am continuing 8:30 p.m. after Arati, now evening Arati, I am giving also class there. For English people now in here, 5:30 we practice. We discuss this, and I will request to also Sarva Drik Prabhu, he will participate. Sometimes he will give, he is also preaching nice our scriptures. So we will continue this way. I hope it will nourish your soul and you will get benefit, advance in bhakti. Buenos días. Gaur
Buenos días,
Premanande Hari Hari
Gurudev.
Bol.
Jai.
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 Harita Madhava.
Jai.
Balaram Prabhu, how are you? Komenta. Thank you, Prabhu.
Very nice. Very nice class, Prabhu.
You open your microphone, Balaram Prabhu.
Pati, tu micrófono se escucha medio raro. Balaram Prabhu, activa tu micrófono, por favor. Jai Maharaj.
Jai Sadhu Maharaj.
Jai Maharaj. Jai Sarva Drik Prabhu, very nice to hear.
Jai Maharaj.
Beautiful. In Bhagavad Gita is always nice to hear.
Yes. I'm just trying to follow your footsteps. You bless me.
No, Maharaj, Prabhuji, don't do that. Follow Maharaja's footsteps, not mine.
Jai Dandavat.
Balaram Prabhu.
Oh,
Balaram Prabhu. Balaram Prabhu, I saw your web homepage, and I think to connect our homepage IKCM org to IKCM MX. What you have open and we want to maintain. So I think you will contact with Sarva Drik Prabhu and we will keep our activities so people they can understand, they can know what is necessary to develop. You connect with Prabhu and we are together, we will work. Okay?
One thing, Prabhu, also, if you can make contact page. I went there to copy all the different Mexican sanghas and temples there to put on the ikcm.org page, so the world